You're simply the best. Better than all the rest.
Hello, welcome back to the channel guys, it's JPA here. In today's video I'm going to be giving you my predictions for the season ahead. Just before we get into this video, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, that would be awesome, thanks. And we'll just get straight into this. So yeah, as I say, welcome to the video. I'm going to give you my 12 positions for the season in terms of who I think will finish where. Please bear in mind this is based on 38 games per season, no 30 or 29 or whatever it was last season. I know some teams benefited from that last season, even though some leagues went on and proved everybody wrong. If you look at the Spanish league, for example, Real Madrid were 9 points behind or something like that, managed to come back and win the league. Now I'm not comparing Rangers to Real Madrid, obviously that's not the case. Obviously one of them's a European giants, massive team, and the other one's Real Madrid. So I'm not going to try and compare those two teams. Let's get straight into this. For number 12 I'm going to go, and obviously this is a relegation one, I'm going to go for Hamilton. Hamilton for me are always in and around the relegation spots. In my honest opinion, I think Hamilton will struggle to score goals this season. They've always had a knack of kind of just working their way out of that relegation zone and just fighting to the last and staying up, but I just think that this season is going to be a step too far for them. Next is 11th place, and that's another similar team as St Mirren. I'm going to put them in 11th place, just above Hamilton. Again, for me, they're one of these teams that are always in and around that position. They're always kind of like 9th to 12th in that bracket. They went down a couple of years ago and obviously they came back up and did reasonably well. They always give us a good game. I remember the 2 games that we played away from home there were very tight, and I think they managed to draw with Celtics last season as well. But I just think they just didn't have enough in the tank to keep them in a good position. They will stay up in my opinion, but again for me they're going to be a team that struggles again. And next is 10th. This might be a shock to you since they've really always done well and finished in the top 6 consistently. They struggled last year and they lost their manager, and I'm talking about St Johnstone. No disrespect to Callum Davidson, who's taken them over. He's obviously an ex-player, but he's a young manager. He's going to give fresh ideas, but looking back to the interview that he gave when he took the job on, he's not going to try and change too much. But I just think the overall influence of Tommy McLean, will be the factor in them kind of struggling again this season, and I predict them to finish 10th. The next team is 9th, and I'm going to go for Ross County. Now I know they're a good team, they're a hard working team, they're always very well organised and they can hit you on the counter. They've got Stewart and Mackay. Will get you goals in the kind of like the bottom 6 games if you like, but I think when they go to the likes of Rangers, Celtic, Hibs, Aberdeen, those kind of games, Motherwell, they will struggle to score goals, and I think that'll kind of just keep them in that bottom half of the table. And it's literally the bottom half of the bottom half if you like. So number 9, Ross County. Moving up is number 8. Now this again might be a shock because of how highly I placed them last season, or how highly I predicted them to be last season, and that's Kilmarnock. I think the loss of Steve Clarke really hit them hard last season, and I cannot see them improving very much on how they are. They're a very organised, tight unit defensively, but going forward they didn't really offer a lot. They've lost probably too much. Obviously they've not got the likes of Boyd this year. They have Brophy. Whether they managed to hang on to a Brophy or not is another story, but they've got just not enough up front for me. Don't get me wrong, Brophy's a fantastic player, fantastic finisher, very strong, very pacey, but he's not got a lot of support really. He had Chris Burke last season, but he's not even going to have that anymore either. So for me, number 8 is going to be Kilmarnock. Number 7, we're almost at the halfway point. I'll try and speed this up a little bit. I don't want this video to be a massive long video, but number 7 I'm going to go for Livingston. The last couple of seasons they've actually really surprised me. They have lost a few players. They've got Robbie McCrory in there in goals, which I think he will really help them this season. If they hold on to Lyndon Dykes, then I think he can get them a few goals. I know he's linked with us. I personally didn't want him, and I'll talk about that in another video when we talk about what's happening with the striker situation at our club. But right now, talking about Livingston, if they keep hold of Lyndon Dykes, you can keep them in and around that 6-7 position, and I think they'll just narrowly miss out in the top 6. And saying that, top 6, one that's just come up for the Championship, Dundee United. I know a lot of people kind of think the mentality of when they've just come up to the Championship they're going to struggle a bit, but I think they're in the same class as Hearts, Hibs, Rangers, Livingston. Even when they came up, they were always kind of stronger, and they were in that kind of higher bracket teams. Very hard working team. They've got Shankland, if they can keep hold of him, very good player, and obviously he hasn't really been tested at this level yet, but I think he can get enough goals to keep them and get them into that top 6 area. So number 6, Dundee United. In 5th position, I'm going to go for Hibs. I know they really struggled last season. I expected them to finish much higher in the table. They've lost that kind of creative spark in midfield. They're going to have to kind of try and sign somebody. I've signed a couple of players from down south and stuff, and I think they'll be okay in that department. Obviously they struggled in the first half of the season because Christian Doidge just really wasn't scoring. Canberra wasn't really interested. I think he's probably on his way. But Christian Doidge, as I said, didn't really do anything in the first half of the season, but he just went on an amazing goal scoring spree, and I think that'll help them and get them into the top 6, no problem. Into 4th, and this is obviously the European places now. A team that I think really surprised a lot of people last season, getting out of the Europa League, and that's Motherwell. I think it'll be neck and neck between themselves, Hibs, and the next team that I'm going to mention, which is Aberdeen. Spoiler alert. But yeah, I think Motherwell are going to get into that top 4 again. They've obviously got the players like the nucleus of the side that they had last season. They've signed Lamy in defence, who's a really good player, despite the fact they scored an own goal against us in that friendly. They've got Hasty back. A lot of the fans are going to have to try and get on his side a little bit more, and I think he's got a lot to prove to the rest of the league. And the good thing is he can't play us, so that's fantastic. But yeah, I think they'll get into a European spot no problem, and they'll be really close to the next team that I'm going to mention, which is, shock horror, Aberdeen into 3rd. They're a team that have probably got worse in the last 3-4 years. If you look at them 4 years ago, they were challenging not only Rangers, but they were challenging Celtic as well at the top. They've kind of lost ground on that stage a little bit, and it's probably because the quality players gone down and down and down. You know, I mean, you look at they had like Kenny McLean, Ryan Jack replaced him with Kenny McLean, and then it's kind of dwindled down a little bit, and they really don't have that creative force. They've got Lewis Ferguson, of course, great player, and I'd expect him to be the main creator in that midfield for them. Up front they've always got a danger in Cosgrove. He's been their top scorer the last 2-3 seasons, but again, like Doidge, when he first went to Aberdeen, he wasn't really scoring. It took him maybe 8-9 games to get his goals, and then he just went on a huge run, and he pretty much hasn't stopped since then. He's another player that's been linked with Rangers, in fact. And we'll not go too much about who's been linked with Rangers because we could be here all day anyway. But yeah, I think Aberdeen will be a stick on for that 3rd place, and it'll be very difficult for them to break into the top 2, I think. We're at the top 2. This is obviously probably why you came in the video to watch this, to find out who my top 2 are. Normally when I do these kind of videos, or do prediction videos, I always go with my heart and I go, right, no matter what, Rangers are winning. Wrong side there. But you know what? No matter what, I think Rangers are going to win. It's been difficult because you have to kind of put the actual head on and go, wait a minute, Celtic have got a good team as well. So in number 2, I'm going to go for a team that has won 9 in a row, from Glasgow. Very good team, and surprisingly I'm going to go Rangers for number 2, and I know a lot of people will be shocked at that watching the video if they're Rangers fans. Please bear with me when I say this. I think we've vastly improved this season. A lot of it depends on what happens with this Morelos situation, whether he stays or goes, or what kind of form he's going to be in. If he does stay, if he does leave, who do we bring in? And I think that a little bit of uncertainty makes me a little bit uneasy. I think another thing that goes against us in our favour, and I know Celtic fans will rush on this and go, but you guys are playing the same teams and all that. The fixture list I think is ridiculous this season. I think the fact that we're opening up to Pittodrie away again I think is embarrassing, when Celtic have got another easy home game against Hamilton. Now, and I appreciate that they won the league, they played their 38 games and won the league last season, right? So they get to open up at home. I get that. They unfurl the flag and all that kind of stuff, right? I get that. Why not give them Aberdeen at home? Or Hibs at home, or Dundee United at home, or somebody that's going to give them a wee challenge. Last season they had St Johnstone, and St Johnstone shipped 7 goals into them. The season before that they had Livingston. Livingston shipped 3 goals into them. It's just really, really easy, and it sets up for what I think is a scenario where you've got an easy game for Celtic, which is a guaranteed 3 points, and you've got a hard game for Rangers, which is touch and go, and we might drop points. And from the very first weekend of football, we're playing catch up. So that's my honest opinion of why I think we will finish second. Obviously, moving on to number 1, Celtic. I think they'll win the league. I think they'll definitely get a few favours from the SFA in terms of suspensions and all that kind of stuff that they normally get. And I'm not saying they're cheating. I'm genuinely not saying that. So if you want to crucify me in the comments, I know that. So that's my top 12 teams. That's the positions I think they'll stay in. Tell me what you guys think down below. Call me an arsehole if you want. If you think, why is he saying all that and everything, I completely understand. I've went against the grain in this video, and normally I would pick Rangers just because I'm a Rangers fan, but I've decided to kind of go on my head on this one, and I think that the powers that may be will deem Celtic to win the league. So thankfully that's the video almost done. Just a quick one. I'm going to predict the winners of the 2 cups as well. League Cup, I'm going to go for Rangers. I thought they were very unlucky in the last tournament that we had there. Obviously lost to what was undoubtedly an offside goal, and we also missed a penalty and stuff. We kind of shot ourselves in the foot there, but I think we can go 1 extra and win the tournament this time. Scottish Cup, I think we'll go to Celtic. I don't think there's a stronger team in the competition than Celtic, apart from obviously ourselves. So I think that Celtic will get the double, but we'll get a cup, and I think we will run them very, very close in the league, don't get me wrong. In terms of Europa, I expect us to qualify for the group stage. I expect Celtic to qualify. To drop down into the Europa League again, because obviously the money in the Champions League is absolutely massive. So I'd expect him to drop into Europa and get to the group stage as well as us. So that's the video done, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I know it was a long video. Hopefully you watch it all. Thanks for your opinions, and I'll get you in the next video. Cheers, guys.